So what I want us to do is to start becoming more conscious, start choosing things in a better way for ourselves, and start creating a life that's going to gear us to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to show up for us in the years to come.
This podcast is brought to you by the Integrated Human. We work up, down, inside out to plug yourself into your potential. If you want to see what we are up to and what's next, sign up to our newsletter or follow us on social media. If you like what we are doing, we really appreciate it if you can like our post on social media and YouTube and help us grow.
All right. Welcome to the Big and Small Podcast. I'm Jason Shields and I'm big.
And I'm Mark Wilson and I'm the tiny one.
Yep.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Oh, Jason's excited today.
Yes, I am.
He came in going, they proved it. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but almost.
Yeah.
They proved it. And I'm like, proved what? It's like, they proved it.
Yeah.
Thousands of years. No, almost.
Yeah.
And Jason's very stoked today because
Yes.
we are going to talk about big words, quantum physics.
Ooh, gotta love that. Quantum physics.
Okay, I need to share a story. You don't know about this.
No.
I told it to Eirik. Because this is what I know about quantum physics.
Yeah.
So I went to Jiu-Jitsu camp in Amsterdam. They had a beautiful light show during the canals, and the theme was legacy.
Hey, nice.
Yeah, and every kind of installation had a whole story about it.
Yeah.
We come to one, and I'm feeling very comfortable. I start dropping names and bombs, which I do. It's just, I can't stop it. They just come out. And I just thought, oh, that's an avatar. But it turns out I'm right. Many of the times. Because when Rose, the head instructor of the camp, read about what it is, this is actually avatar and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we come to a point, and I go, quantum physics. It is quantum physics they're trying to kind of show.
Express. Yeah.
And I go, yeah, there's no time, no space, and it's all happening at the same time, and CERN, and Rose starts talking about it. Also, like, yeah, you know that they have a quantum computer now in the University of Amsterdam, and we started throwing back and forth, and then I just go, by the way, my source here is the Da Vinci Code. And she turns and she goes, mine too.
Yeah.
Like, good. And just people, they're like, oh, I know what I'm talking about, back and forth, and then like, I have to be honest.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of it is true, but I do know, because we talked a lot about the time and space, kind of everything happening all at once.
Yeah.
And we use it in not quantum physics in itself as a word, but we use pure consciousness.
Yeah.
A lot in the Integrated Human.
Yes, we do.
And now it's proven.
Well, I wouldn't say in that way directly proven.
What has happened?
Yes, okay.
What has happened?
Why was I excited?
That is not Da Vinci Code related.
Yeah. Do you want me to get to the wham, bam, thank you? Or do you want me to give you a little bit of a preface?
Warm up is always good.
Warm up is always good. Okay. I love science.
True.
Because everything that is knowable in the universe gives us more ways of enjoying the universe. The more we know about ourselves, the more we enjoy of ourselves, the more we know about the world around us, the more we can enjoy and work with the world around us. I'm totally 100% curious. I love to know stuff. I love to figure things out.
You do ask all the questions.
I do ask all the questions. And of course, I always start with what and why, right? Mm-hmm. What and why. And I also understand that our frames and our belief systems have to change as knowledge comes in. So a lot of people put religion or philosophy or psychology on one side of a scale and physics and chemistry and science on the other side. But that's not the case. It's us trying to figure out from the left and right parts of our brain what's real.
Wasn't it someone that says that religion is religion until it's proven by science?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, there's something there, right? Because even science has a philosophy, has a frame it has to work within. And that's what we'll talk about that in a moment. There is a frame that you set until new knowledge comes in and breaks the frame and it expands the frame. And then you work inside that frame and then it's broken and then it's expanded. And there's this whole cycle of science taking in new information and trying to integrate that. And there are a lot of things that are very difficult for people to understand, either because you need a lot of background knowledge to understand the kind of dun, da,
Dun, dun.
yeah, that dun comes from the dun, da, 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 right? All of the stuff that you need to know, for example, in mathematics to understand an equation. So people don't bother with it. But most of those things are just descriptions of the way things kind of fit together. So if you understand the concepts, you can actually understand the dun, dun in science quite well. And interestingly enough, I've had a question in my mind for a long time, and that's about pure consciousness, psychology, and the way things are working in quantum physics in general, because I have always wondered why quantum physics and the findings there look more and more like the description of the unfolding of the universe and consciousness from the Vedic tradition, from the Islamic tradition, from the mysticism in Christianity, because all of those people speak the same language, they talk about the same experience, and the
Just
more
using different words on it,
they
right?
use, their cultures are different, their languages are different, but the
The true
concepts,
essence.
the essence and the concepts are
same.
the same. The religions are different, yeah, but the details around the experience are the same. And that's very interesting. No space and time, no individual identity. All of these experiences, when you do a deep meditation, for example, you get time dilation. You remember in one of our events, I had everybody meditate. And when they came back, I'm like, that was 20 minutes. And they were like, oh
And people
my,
were freaking out.
what? They thought it was like 2 minutes, right?
Yeah, that was fun.
Because space and time collapse as you become more centered in pure consciousness.
It's almost worse the time you've gone for 5 minutes and like, oh, that was 2 hours. Oh my
Yeah,
God. And
exactly.
Then like, that was 5 minutes.
That
And you
was-
go,
whoa.
I have no impossible.
Exactly.
That must have been 2 minutes, 2 hours.
Exactly.
At least.
At least you start to understand the closer to pure consciousness you get, the less space and time effect. You actually step outside of that. Now, there's been something called the hard problem of consciousness. It's almost been like a career killer in science to talk about consciousness at all, because
that's not science, is
it's
it?
not exactly, because that's more on the scale, like further
Of
over on the
religion,
scale of religion,
faith,
and
beliefs
and psychology. It's whatever, dude, take your stuff and go home. And again, this is a cycle of bringing new things into science. Is they first try to murder you, then they laugh at you and ridicule you and say horrible things about you, and then they take what you brought as a totally obvious fact, and usually will try to steal the credit for it and move on.
The earth is flat.
Yeah, for example. So there's been a progression from the person who basically caught my attention in the beginning, which is Dr. Feynman. The Feynman lectures you can find online. You can listen to him on YouTube. You can buy his lectures. I think you can at least download them for free somewhere. And he explains quantum physics. He explains physics in general, but also quantum physics to the university in California. And I took all of those lectures through his lectures. And I also did physics and quantum physics to a certain degree in my undergraduate. But of course, I wanted to do something else with my life than study physics, but I have a deep love for it.
You love all of that physics videos.
I love all of them. I think they're amazing, right?
4 hours forward, Jason, because when we talk about it, physics is a thing that describes why when I let go of this pen, why it will drop, right?
And I'm like,
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And I never had, because in Norway, you don't, when you go to college, high school, college.
You go to high school and then college.
Yeah,
So
but
I
you
think
don't-
you're saying college.
Yeah, you wouldn't have, you don't have to have, it's not college. You're between the 15 and 18.
Yeah, high school.
You don't have to do physics.
That's right.
Or biology. So I skipped that part.
Yeah, you guys have to pick a direction in high school. In America, we don't.
Yeah, we pick a direction, and then I went into arts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. People go into business, they go into mechanics, they go into basic sciences.
Yes, and I didn't go into basic science.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like always checking. Is that the thing physics on?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that thing?
So I grew up studying the flipped SU5 heterotic superstring theory by Dr. John Haglin, because that was associated with an idea of the way the universe arises from the unified field. Okay, the unified field being, at that time, quantum physics didn't have the strong idea of a singularity or a one source for the whole universe. So the flipped SU5 heterotic superstring theory, and before that, there was the flipped SU3, right? So as John Haglin developed this, he started to work to unite those things with Vedic science. And he was able to correlate actually
And Vedic science, that's from the East, right?
Yeah, that's from India, exactly. Vedic science is basically the ancient religion and belief system behind Hinduism. So they were able to put those together in a structure and look at the universal development through superstrings in a way that was symmetrical to how they explained how the universe arose from the Vedic culture. It was very interesting. But that didn't really catch on because he was very early in the game.
It was in the 90s?
Yeah, it was in the late 80s, early 90s. And he pushed a little bit with it. And he got quite popular with a small group of people, but then it died there. And I think they've later on moved away from superstring theory as a major direction in quantum physics now, but it was still a very precocious or very interesting way to move forward with the hard problem of consciousness. Okay? Because he was also talking about a field of pure consciousness. Later, a engineer physicist named Federico Faggin. He's an Italian.
He's Italian.
He's
Like,
Italian.
that's
Federico.
Italian.
He basically discovered the silicon chip. So he's the reason you have a mobile phone. He's the reason we have computers. This whole thing where it's either 1 or 0, that's the language, the machine language. The silicon chip is what Silicon Valley basically is based on. So he's a big shot, okay? He had a spiritual awakening where he was a CEO of a big company and he was on a very well-deserved ski trip. And he had this spiritual awakening where he said, my heart was filled with a kind of love that I can't explain. It was larger than a human being can stand. Based on my experience from that moment, I understood that everything is consciousness. Everything is pure consciousness. And he started talking about the universe being a piece and that we're small pieces of the universe. And each piece is a holographic representation of the biggest piece. So he has a whole theory of consciousness. I believe his new book is called Irreducible. I definitely would recommend you guys check him out because he's a cute old guy and he's a big mover and shaker in tech at the same time as he's a great man of consciousness. Here I am innocently reading my articles and studying, and I come over a paper that's been released by Dr. Maria Stema.
Norway.
Go Norway. Yeah. We got a Norwegian homegirl, right?
Exactly.
She is now proposing, very much like Dr. Haglin did, that pure consciousness comes before the quantum field, meaning that consciousness is actually primary, and then the universe is developed. This takes care of a couple problems. Okay. So if you work inside a box and you only have things that are in the box to work with,
basically how you live your life
is how you live your life, the frames you put on your world, right? Your psychology will actually limit your ability to experience the things outside the box.
Yeah, because everything outside means death.
Yeah, it means death. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's non-existence.
It either doesn't exist, or my experience is that the ego, the being, the identities, they're so locked in their box that they're afraid of expanding.
Exactly.
You have to really want to do that process.
Exactly. And if I give you a box filled with numbers, you can do all kinds of crazy, amazing things with numbers, but you'll never find an apple.
Exactly.
So that's why the hard problem of consciousness is such a hard problem, because if you're working inside a box and consciousness and the source of consciousness is from the outside, you can never calculate yourself
To consciousness.
to consciousness. It has to be primary. So I got so excited because she works in Uppsala University in Sweden. So Dr. Stema has now published a paper proposing, with the language of science, quantum mechanics, and mathematics, the fact that pure consciousness is primary. And if you have been following us, you will remember that I talked about the structure of consciousness and the structure and flow. And the very top level is pure
consciousness.
Pure consciousness, because from this arises everything. So once you have consciousness and awareness, then many things can happen. Now, understanding also that pure consciousness then gives rise to the field of nothingness and then everythingness as it starts to initiate its movement and development. And there are equations in quantum physics that explain the, I want to say, broiling or boiling of this field of all possibility before something's manifest in order to manifest the universe. And then we get all kinds of crazy things, the weak and strong force and gravity and space and time. But you can't have time without space, and you can't have space without time. So as you start to work with these things and it starts to basically interact with quantum tunneling and all these,
I'm starting to see stars.
production of hydrogen atoms that then become helium atoms. Quantum tunneling is the reason why life at all exists.
My head is just very odd.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it makes no sense, right?
No, it doesn't make any sense.
And
or total sense.
It makes total sense. Because if you think about quantum physics being at a level where manifestation isn't 100% finished, because people think there was an event and then the universe, but that's not the case. It's constantly broiling. It's constantly expressing itself, because this is actually, like I talk about in our meditation seminars and our flow states, there is only one moment.
Oh, yes.
All moments are present
same time.
All at the same time. And people are thinking, for example, that you're experiencing a moment and a moment and a moment and a moment. But in reality, there is just this ever evolving moment that encompasses the beginning and the end of the universe, that because that spot is outside of space-time, that same spot of the initiation of the universe is present now and now and now and now. And if that doesn't break your head, if it doesn't break your head, nothing will. Because
I just go, yes.
Yes. Yes.
I've had enough experience to go, yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Hallelujah.
As I would say myself.
Yes, exactly. Thought about that last week.
Yeah.
I agree.
Now I have better fundamental to have this conversation than the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, exactly. So as people are becoming more familiar with quantum physics and quantum concepts, bringing psychology and quantum physics together is important. Because one of the big questions I had in my mind as I've been studying this was, are we reaching the edge of quantum physics, or are we reaching the edge of our own minds? Because our minds are a frame.
I would assume our own minds.
Exactly. That's it. Yes, no. Maybe our own minds, when we have pure consciousness, are the beginnings of the universe.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what she's talking about. Pure consciousness exists in you and her and me and everybody around us. And in fact, if it's primary, then everything here is nothing but a expression of pure consciousness. And the unbelievably infinite moments, directions, times, spaces, perspective, and angles and possibilities that are the perception of this field. It's when I say these things, I know it doesn't make any sense for many people, because quantum physics is not just stranger than you think, it's stranger than you can think.
Exactly.
They, for example, have proven that there is no space-time. Can I explain an experiment to you?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I'm fully with you.
Okay. Bring it. So let me break your head.
It's broken already.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
let's go. No, like with the quantum physics, I have enough experience to go, yes.
Yes. Whoa. Crazy.
First time, it was just like, I was gone for 2 weeks, and then it was an hour.
Yeah.
That's impossible.
Hold on a second.
That's impossible. Yeah.
So a particle or an atom, actually, in this case also, but like a photon, like a particle of light, can either act as a wave or a particle. So a rock or a wave, right? So you can imagine if you have a wall with two doors in it and you're shooting rocks, you know, on the wall behind that, you'll see that if they're rocks, particles, then you'll see where they went through the doors, right?
Mhm.
But if you're spraying water that kind of interferes and bounces off of each other, what you'll see is many different places where the water flowed through and hit, if it makes sense. It's like a wave, right? So you'll have many areas where the wave has hit the wall. But the interesting thing is about these particles at that size, the small size, if you measure it, it always acts like a rock instead of a wave.
Okay.
But if you don't measure it before it's hit, then it acts like a wave always. Okay? So this sounds pretty freaky. But then you can get your head around, okay, did we measure it? It looked like rocks. It hit in two lines through the doors. If we didn't measure it and we looked afterwards at the result, it acted like waves that were bouncing off each other and it would hit different areas going through the doors. Okay, now, are you ready? Because you remember when you measure it, what does it act like?
Rock.
Acts like rocks, little pebbles, right? Now, light you can split.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say that I split the light as it's going through to the door so that some go to the door and some go through like mirrors, like bang, 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 bang. So it takes much longer for it to hit the wall or to get to the doors where it's the same thing, same setup on the other
Now
side.
you've lost me, but sure, continue.
Okay.
I'm totally lost right now.
Okay. Because if you're lost, then everybody's going to, let me just, okay. So you understand shooting the rocks at the wall with the two doors.
You lost me at when we measure it and when we don't measure it.
Okay. If you measure or look at it,
it's a rock.
It always looks like a rock. That's it. Just remember that.
Okay.
Okay. And if you don't measure it, it acts like a what?
Wave.
Yeah. Okay. If you just remember that. Okay. Okay. Now, the same setup somewhere else. Okay. The same setup as this. We shoot the light, right? And we split the light so that the one particle goes through the doors, or the one part of the beam goes through the doors here, right? And then the other one has to go a little longer. It goes further to get through the doors on the other side. Okay. If I measure the one that took longer, not only does this one act like rocks, but the first one acts like rocks too.
It's the same.
Because they're entangled. Yeah. So that means that since this one had a shorter distance to travel, the effect of entanglement goes back in time. People want to go time traveling?
Split yourself in two.
Split yourself in two, exactly.
Don't try.
Get all entangled, yo. But these particles are entangled, which entanglement is nothing other than the expression of no space. And the mathematics will start to develop. Once I've said this, I guarantee you, if the equation for no space hasn't been yet found and described, it will now very shortly. Because these things are not just entangled, they are actually in the same spot because there's no space. And there's no time because you can't go back in time if there's time. There's obviously at this level, when it comes to entanglement, because I said if there's no space, there's no
time.
And if there's no time, there's no
space.
Exactly. If there's no time, and you're breaking time, you've also broken space. So it's so interesting that Dr. Maria Stema has now started to implement the language of pure consciousness, like we've been speaking about, into physics, and having formal research papers with the whole description with mathematics created and presented into the scientific field. Not only is she a hero of mine now, she is one of the most interesting people that I could ever want to talk to. So we can get her on our podcast so that I can ask her all these amazing questions about her research and about how she's
I just wonder how you get to that point.
Yeah, tell me.
No, just wondering where you can really get to the point of asking these questions.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
She's obviously a very interesting person. So I would love to have a little bit of time with her. So, yo, CEO, fix that. Call her up and ask her very humbly to join us. I would love that. But quantum physics is something that gives you another perspective around things that you're experiencing in this world. Imagine just the psychological benefit you have if you've understood that things aren't written in stone, but everything is a probability. Even if the probability is so high that it feels sometimes like it's written in stone, you know that everything is just a probability, that you're living in a world of possibilities. That psychological mechanism can help a lot of people dump frames that they've been living inside that makes them depressed or sad, or keep them in a job even that they don't want to have. So quantum physics has helped a lot of people, even though they never understood quantum physics. So remember, you matter unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared. Then you're energy. But if you can't be energy, matter.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you felt we added something to your day and hopefully your life. If you want to learn more, subscribe to our newsletter and find us at integrated-human.com. That is integrated-human.com. Integrated Human on YouTube and other social media platforms. Have a great day and thank you again for listening. Love, light, and upgrade from us at the Integrated Human team.